Here's a rundown of the market performance and SPX price action for Thursday, April 17th, 2025. That was a Thursday, and the markets were closed on Friday. Let's get started with the market overview. We can see that the Dow was down 1.33%, primarily driven by the UnitedHealthCare earnings report, where they missed on revenue and earnings. And they also guided down quite a bit, and that really hit the Dow, as UNH is one of the largest holdings within that index. The S&P was up 0.13%. The NASDAQ was down 0.13%, and the VIX decreased 9.16% to 29.65. If we look at the sectors, energy was the leader at a 2.26% increase, followed by two defensive groups, consumer staples, which were up 2.13% and 1.58%. Healthcare was at the bottom with a drop of 0.59%, and technology was down 0.54%. We move to the SPX chart. There are 5 anchored volume weighted average price lines on the chart. Those are anchored at August 5th, 2024, April 19th, 2024, January 4th, 2024, October 27th, 2023, and October the 13th, 2022, which were all significant market lows. The 20-day, 50-day, and 200-day simple moving averages are all declining, with the 50-day crossing below the 200-day on April the 14th. The SPX closed at 5282.7 on Thursday, April 17th. A key resistance that I'm watching is the January 4th, 2024 anchored VWAP line, which aligns closely with the March 13th close. Breaking through that price and holding would be a significant achievement. If we move over VIX, we can see that we peaked on April the 7th and been trending downwards, currently sitting at 29.65. If we look at the weekly chart, we saw the VIX spike up 109.28%, week ending 3/31. The following week, it dropped 17%, and this past week it dropped 21%, currently sitting at that 29.65. This will also be a big week for earnings reports. There are over 100 S&P 500 companies that will be reporting earnings this week. A few that I'm particularly interested in, which are part of my holdings, are the RTX, which reports on April the 22nd before the market opens. Agree Realty, which reports after the market close on the 22nd. Then on the 23rd, we have AT&T reporting before the market open. And on the 25th, Friday, we have AbbVie, which is reporting before the market open. Some of the economic news and data releases that I'll be watching this week are April the 22nd, we have 4 Fed speakers. April 23rd, I'll be looking at mortgage applications. We also have an additional 3 Fed speakers on Wednesday. We have new home sales that'll be reported and building permits. On the 24th will be the jobless claims and home sales. and on Friday will be the Michigan Consumer Report. I'm also watching the CME FedWatch tool to see what the market is pricing in as far as Fed rate cuts this year. It looks like they have priced in 4 rate cuts. They're not expecting a rate cut at the May 7th press release, but on the June 18th, 2025, there's a 75.7% probability that they'll decrease by a 1/4 percentage point. Then on July 30th, they're expecting it's 62.5% probability that it'll be reduced another 25 basis points. No rate cut is expected at the September meeting. October the 29th is a 99.5% probability of rate cut, followed by another on December the 10th, 2025, where it stabilizes for the next 3 meetings. So that's something that I'll be watching closely over the coming months. We move over to the futures. We can see that they're all down, with the Dow futures down 0.89%, S&P futures down 1.12%, and the NASDAQ at 1.68%. So it looks like we're going to start the day down. We'll see if we have any recovery throughout the day. Thank you, and wish you a great trading day.